Einstein said we could never understand it all. Hey, there's planets spinning in space. A smile upon your face. Well, welcome to the human race. It's some kind of lovely ride. See us sliding down, gliding down. Oh, try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is the time isn't really real. It's just your point of view. Tell me, how does it feel to you? Well, Einstein said we could never understand it all. Planets spinning in space put a smile upon your face, and welcome to the human race. And it's some kind of lovely ride. See us sliding down, see us gliding down. Oh, you ought to try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? See us gliding down, sliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. And the secret of life is enjoying the passing of time. This is an old Burt Bacharach song. It works. It's a good thought for the morning. We're moving into the month of August, eh? I wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart an easy ring. I wish you bliss, and more than this, I wish you love. And in July, a lemonade to cool you in some easy glade. I wish you health, I wish you wealth, and I wish you love. In our hearts we all agree that peace on earth is meant to be, and that's the best, that's what is best for you and me. I wish you shelter from the storm, a house that's high and dry and warm, but most most of all, when woes befall, I wish you love. In our hearts we all agree that peace on earth is meant to be, and that's the best, the very best for you and me. I do wish you shelter from the storm, a house that's high and dry and warm. Most of all, hey, come this fall, I wish you love. And most of all, when woes befall, I wish you love. That's what I wish you for this morning. Are we ready? All right.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Jim Saul. I'm a practitioner here. If you're here for the very first time, I highly, highly recommend that you come back another day when Reverend Ken is here. He's likely a much better speaker and just a really uplifting message person. I don't do this very often, so I'm terrified. I do have some announcements today. I was asked to mention about motion, meditation and motion, which is on Saturdays from 10 to 11. I understand now they have the singing bowls with them. And this is a really, really powerful class that we have here. We have a few more classes that have just come into my attention. One is the Qigong class, which is on August 21st, food labels, which is on August 17th, and next week, Sam and Lucy are here for their sound healing bath. So these are some really, really good classes right after service. I highly recommend them. And we have one more class this afternoon, and I would like Jerry, the brain goes dead. I'd like Jerry to come up and talk about it a little bit.
Hello, everybody. We're going to cover two things today, and they've been obscured in spirituality pretty much, but they're like the most critical things to know. Oh, better? But they're like the most critical things to know. And for some reason, which we'll describe why, they get obscured in many spiritualities. So it's going to be two things. The first thing we're going to cover is the most devastating, welcome, right? The most devastating word and idea in spirituality. And as I say, people are not talking about this in many cases. And it's the cause, it's the absolute one cause of everything you see in the world and all the problems you think you have. So we're going to cover that, okay? We're going to uncover it. We're going to unveil it today. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to cover the 3 steps to true happiness. Not just your smiling today, but the true happiness, something you can grab onto and go to every time you need it. So we're going to cover those 3 steps, and it's even better than that. You really only have to do 2 steps. The third one is done for you, okay? So we're going to cover both of those things. I think it'll be enjoyable. I think it's going to open your eyes, and it's going to be something you can use for the rest of your life. So it's going to start at 11:15, not 11:30, but 11:15, and we'll go to 1 o'clock, when the other group comes in. Okay, maybe I'll see you there if it's interesting to you.
Thank you, Jerry. So that's A Course in Miracles right after service. How about some more music?
pitch. How can you
I'm not good at
How can
this.
you not do that? No telling what may appear on the horizon. Ain't no reason to fear taking it day by day. No telling what may appear could be surprising. Hey, my perspective's clear. I'm taking it day by day. I lift up my voice and sing it out. Haul in the mainsail and bring her about. I keep believing life is sweet. It's yours for the taking. Hey, and I never miss a beat. I'm taking it day by day. And under a bright blue sky, faith lies unshaken. You're happy and so am I to be taking it day by day. I lift up my voice and I sing it out. I set a new course and bring her about. I keep believing that life is sweet. It's yours for the taking, hey, and you'll never miss a beat. Taking it day by day, and under a bright blue sky, hope lies unshaken. You're happy and so am I to be taking it day by day. Hey. Oh, yeah. I'm taking it day by day. Come on and lift up your voices and sing it out. Set a new course and turn it about. Keep believing that life is sweet and it's yours for the taking. And you'll never miss a beat if you're taking it day by day. And under a bright blue sky, hope lies unshaken. You're happy and so am I to be taking it day by day. We be taking it day by day, simply taking it day by day. Come on, all taking it day by day.
Thank you, that was wonderful. Now I'd like to invite Linda Ryan up to do a treatment and a reading. She's in the process of becoming a practitioner. She starts in the fall, and she's just taken a ton of classes already, and I really look forward to her. Becoming a practitioner is really an amazing feat. It's years worth of study. You have to go before a board and communicate with them efficiently. And it just is a really beautiful spiritual practice. So,
Thank you, Jim. And like Jim, I get nervous up here. I had 30 years in Toastmasters, but as an introvert, I'm still nervous when I come up front. So you're not alone. I'm going to share with you a spiritual message that I get in an email, and it is on forgiveness. And those who know me real well know that I'm a bug about forgiveness because it totally changed my life. So I'll share this with you, and then I'll do an affirmative prayer. Forgiveness, I heal my heart when I practice release and extend forgiveness. I am one with the infinite love and wisdom of Spirit. I open my mind and heart to the healing power of forgiveness, a divine gift that is always mine to call upon. I release resentment, guilt, judgment, allowing them to dissolve into the light of truth. Releasing makes it easier for me to forgive myself and others for hurtful words and actions. I let go of the past. I make room for joy and harmony to take root in my heart. This is perhaps the sweetest blessing of forgiveness. Forgiveness restores my consciousness to the fullness of my divine nature. I am at peace in mind, body, and soul, grateful for the forgiveness that has set me free. And I'll share in one of my CSL classes in Ocala many, many years ago when Reverend Peggy Hostetler was a minister there, who's been retired, but I think sometimes teaches the ministers coming up. But she taught me that I needed to forgive myself of the feelings that I had toward another, even though I had been forgiving that person over and over and over again. When I started forgiving my feelings toward them, everything changed and it set me free. So I'll share that with you. And now, if you would like to get very relaxed, if you wish to close your eyes for our affirmative prayer, and I'll say it in the first person so that you can take it as your own if you wish. I recognize this divine presence, all loving, all powerful, all knowing. I am at one with that presence as I am a child of that presence. As I go through this week, I know that as I see others, I can smile and spread joy. I can feel that joy. And for those that I feel a little anxious about, I can forgive myself for those feelings and spread unconditional love, as I know that my mission here on earth is to learn and to love unconditionally. I am so grateful for this knowing because I know it is the absolute truth. I am so grateful for the center, for the unconditional love that is shared among all those who attend. I am so grateful for Jim, who, even though he may not think he's such a great speaker as Reverend Ken, he always has great messages for us, and I know it always keeps me thinking. I am so grateful for Don's music. I'm grateful for our IT people. They always help me bring my voice to you. I'm grateful for those who have provided us all the goodies, the people that we have that make great food for us to share, for your being here, because your being here is what makes this center this loving, unconditional place. I let go and let God, and so it is.
My talk title this morning is Enlightenment, The Path to Awesome. I chose the title because in my 39 years of studying and being at this center, there's nothing more important in my mind than the concept, the idea of being enlightened. And when you begin to experience enlightenment, the end result is that your life is totally awesome. I mean, everything depends on your outlook. And when you look at life expecting beauty and contentment and just the riches of living, it's there. And so enlightenment to me is the most important goal that anybody could have. And it's a lifelong learning experience. So it kind of comes down to trying to describe enlightenment. And that's a really hard thing because words are so little. You know, if I use the word sunset, it's this big, and yet you've got, you know, the sun and all the colors and the floaty clouds and just an amazing thing. And the word sunset is so little. Same with the word for infinity. I mean, we can't even conceive infinity, and yet we have this little bitty word. So all the teachers, all the spiritual teachers, all the religions, all the gurus, everybody has tried to put the infinite into words, and it's really, really challenging. I've had a lot of time to work on this. I've had a lot of time to try and find those words that kind of define it. And I borrow two things from Buddhism and Hinduism, two descriptions. And I would describe, personally, I would describe enlightenment as there's two of me. There's two of me. There is the body and brain. You all know that, you know, and the brain isn't all that great. And the body's getting old. And it's not eternal. And then there's the other part of me, the divine intelligence that's within me. And in Buddhism, they refer to it as the one who knows. The one who knows. And so what I would point to is that within each and every one of you, there is a divine intelligence that knows. It knows the truth when you hear it. It knows falsehoods. It knows all things. And if you take the time to ask it questions, you will get really, really profound answers. Sometimes they're difficult answers, but sometimes they're just so beautiful that it sometimes makes me cry. The other example is, also in Buddhism, is the watcher, the quiet watcher, the one who observes without judgment, without fear, without longing. It just observes, lovingly observes. So that's kind of how I describe enlightenment. For me, it has come, I don't know, well, over the last 20 years. Initially, it came in like little bits so that I could kind of cope with it. And then later, it came in bigger chunks. And finally, I was able to take my highest awareness. You know, that awareness when you're in the middle of a meditation and the mind is blank and you just feel so beautiful, so content. Take that highest consciousness and begin to bring it into Walmart. All right? I mean, that's what enlightenment is taking your highest consciousness and bringing it into your worst nightmare. Right? I mean, that's what it's all about. It's changing your nightmare into something that's beautiful. And we all have touched enlightenment multiple times. I once had a class, and in that class I described all my ideas of what enlightenment was, and at the end of the class I said, "How many have experienced it?" And every hand rose except one. You know, so we all experience moments of enlightenment, and I'm going to try to talk about them a little bit this morning, because once you begin to be aware of it, it's really a lot easier to manifest it in other places and begin to make this awareness, this spiritual awakening, expand into other parts of your life, like when you go into Walmart. I read a lot. One of my spiritual practices is to study. Study the mystics, study science, study. I love contemporary teachers, and on my phone, I can show you if you don't believe me. On my phone, I have 195 audio books, and I think there's one that's fiction. I think Herman Hesse, okay? But I really like audiobooks because I can be doing things while it's teaching me. And just recently, I mean, I always have a favorite, you know, but it changes as I evolve. My favorite book changes, but just recently I came across a new favorite. I think read it 3 times now, and I'll probably read it 10 more times because it's so amazing. The title is When Fear Falls Away by Jan Fraser. And she did an amazing thing. She really did. She had a spiritual awakening. And what she did was, from the very beginning, she started to document the evolution of her spiritual awakening. All my books are looking for a contemporary teacher who is talking about enlightenment and in contemporary terms. It's nice to read the Bhagavad Gita, you know, but that's 1,000,000 years ago, and often it's in languages that aren't contemporary. So I'm looking for contemporary teachers who can talk about their spiritual awakening. It's really an important learning tool for me. So she, you know, I described it as 2 of me, right? She described it a little differently. She says there are 3 realms of experience. 3 realms of experience. The first realm of experience is the outer world. We all know it. It's full of beauty and horror. It's full of love, compassion, and hate. It's all full of confusion. And we kind of know this outer world really well. Now, she divides these 3 into A, B, and C. I love it. You know, real simple, A, B, and C. A is the outer world. And B, she describes as what I would call brain and body. You know, the mental dialogue. Eckhart Tolle refers to the mental dialogue as the tormentor in your head, right? It's the one that tells you you're not good enough. You know, God, you did a horrible talk today, you know. And so that's B, the internal reaction to the world. If the world insults me, that body, mind will be insulted. It will be hurt. But then there's C. C is a deeper level of experience that is not affected by the external world. In my description, I described it as the quiet one, the one who knows. She describes it almost identically. Excuse me, my nose is running. A little bit of embarrassment here. Or could be, could be. She describes it as the quiet watcher also. And through this book of hers, she goes on and on about what it's like to be enlightened and the difference between before and after. So this is a really, really important book. It's contemporary, and it's not some monk who has just spent 30 years in a cave. This is a woman who has children and insurance and a car that sometimes doesn't work, and yet she's having this enlightenment, just like I felt I had. And the amazing part of this book for me is that it validated so much of the experience that I've had in my enlightenment. Now, she describes this so well, and I won't be able to describe it as well, but this is what she basically says. The unenlightened person experiences A, the outer world, and B, the body and mind that has the mental dialogue and all the worries and frustrations. That's what the average person experiences. The enlightened person mostly experiences C, this quiet watcher, this divine intelligence that's within us. This is deep, deep contentment. And when you experience life from C, what you have is you have the ability to help B, the body, mind, and you can actually have it not only help B, but help B to help the outer world. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I had this experience, and it was most enlightening in that I once went into a grocery store, and I was so frustrated and so freaked out. I was running late. I hate running late. All of the mental dialogue was just driving me batty. And the grocery store was the grocery store from hell. Okay, everybody got in my way. I'm in a hurry. Everybody got in my way. I'd go around a corner, and there's a woman standing in front of me, and we'd both go, right? You've had that experience. And I finally make it up to the counter, and I only had to get like 4 items. And I finally got out to the checkout counter, and I'm standing there, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. It seems like I'm waiting for an hour, and suddenly somebody comes up behind me with a basket and smashes into the back of me. Almost knocks me off my feet. I almost went into one of the displays on the side, right? And I turn around and look, and there's this little old lady. She's this tall. And she says, "You cut in front of me." I was speechless, I'm just speechless. And I go ahead, what do you do? You let her get in front of you. She's going to run me over if I don't. And so she gets in front of me. It was one of those 8 items or less. She had about 15. When she gets to the point where she's checking out, that's when she decides to write a check. Not only a check, but a check for more than what it's worth, what she's buying. So then she has to get out her license, and everything. I was going bananas. I was almost in tears. I finally get up to the checkout counter, and my frustration is so out there, that the checkout counter lady, she kind of threw my money back at me. Some of it fell on the floor. I didn't care. I just wanted out of the grocery store from hell, right? I finally get my stuff, and I get in my car, and I sit in the seat, and I put the food in the passenger seat, and I look. I forgot something. Right? I mean, isn't that the way some of your days go? I forgot something. I have to go back into the grocery store from hell and start over. But I'd been coming to the center for some time, and I think I'd even taught a little bit. And so at that moment, I decided I need to meditate. And so I did what I named a 3-breath meditation. 3 long breaths. 3 long, slow breaths. And then I kind of jumped out of the car, ready to sprint to the store. And I said, no. And I walked slowly all the way to the grocery store, breathing. And I went into the grocery store. I needed some sugar. I'd forgotten sugar for the coffee pot out here. And I went right to the sugar first time, picked it up, walked up to the 8 items or less, and I knew that everything's, I'm in no hurry now. It didn't work before, so I'm in no hurry. And I get behind this lady, and she had maybe 5 or 6 items. And the first thing she did when I walked up behind her is she turned around and looked. And she said, oh, you only have 1 item. Why don't you get in front of me? I almost cried. Because I had changed the grocery store from hell into this benevolent, loving world just by changing the mental dialogue in my head. This is becoming aware of enlightenment. When you can change the outer world beneficially, because you've changed the inside. You're no longer living from B and C, the brain, body, and the external world. You're living from C. And Jan Fraser, she had an instantaneous full enlightenment. She basically, spoiler alert, she prayed that she wouldn't have fear. And instantly all her fear fell away, and she had this spiritual awakening. And she documents it so beautifully. And she talks about so much that I can't get into all of it. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the teachers are everywhere. The teachers are everywhere. The grocery store was my teacher. That lady that ran into me with the buggy, she was my teacher. In spite of the bruise that I had on my butt, she was my teacher. And when you start to experience that, everything becomes kind of uplifting. Everything becomes beautiful. Everything becomes the best you could possibly expect. And that's enlightenment. Now, all of you have experienced it. Imagine yourself walking to go get your mail. Your mind is all busy with, frustrations and angers and all this stuff, and you're walking there, and suddenly you look up and you see a beautiful sunset. What happens? the mind stops and you go, oh, you're awed. You're awed by it. And that's a moment of enlightenment. It's not rare. It happens all the time. Coincidences, they happen. And they happen in such a beautiful way. It's part of enlightenment. Another example that I'd like to bring out is in the last e-blessing, the one this past week. At the bottom, there was a little video of Eckhart Tolle. And I studied Eckhart for years and years and years, and he was a beautiful teacher. And if you look at that video, what it is he's telling you how to become enlightened. And what he says is, see it, hear it, see the sunset, hear the bird song, smell the flowers, and don't talk about it in your head. Just experience the beauty that's all around you. And that's enlightenment. He says it better probably, but that's the point. It's not that hard. You just have to stop complaining about the politician and your neighbor that cuts his grass at 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. Just start to experience life and don't judge it. Don't have the mental dialogue. Let's see what else I have to talk about. This is such a beautiful thing, enlightenment. Why would we not get it? Why would we not have it? And mostly what I would believe is that we don't have it because we don't believe that it's available to us. If you think about it, most people think that it's in 10 lifetimes I'll be enlightened, way far away, or that you have to be a mystic or live in a cave for 30 years. But that's not true. What's happening now is that normal people like me are having these experiences, and that it makes life so beautiful that it's hard to describe. So, how do you get there? How do you get there? I can't tell you how you can get there. Sorry. I can tell you how I got there. And how I got there was through spiritual practice. Right now, sorry for this, but right now, my spiritual practice includes prayer. Just a month ago, Ken did a workshop on affirmative prayer. Meditation, we had 2 meditations this morning. The quiet mind is touching enlightenment. I have writing as part of my spiritual practice. I do the little bits of wisdom on the back of the calendar that I hand out. I have a Spiritual Living Garden Club newsletter that I write once a month. And just to the left of the front door as you go out, I have a whole bunch of little pamphlets because I can't write a book. My brain can't expand my writing into 300 pages. And most people don't have the patience to read 300 pages, so mine are like 12, or 2, 3. So that's part of my spiritual practice is I write. I also garden. Most of us have moments of enlightenment when we're in nature, when we begin to feel the oneness of the whole world, and we're in nature, and we're in a cathedral of trees and flowers and bushes. And so I make it a goal of mine to garden my yard and make it Eden, right? I want it to be so welcoming that I spend a lot of time in my cathedral of plants and animals. I have deer and stuff that eat my plants, and there's all, bugs and things. But that's all part of life. That's all part of this external world. You have to embrace. You have to embrace all of it. I mean, really, there are those interruptions. I can remember when this first started to happen to me, that I used to get so frustrated. I'd be in such a beautiful state, and my wife would say, "Can you take out the garbage?" And and she's my teacher. She teaches me when I'm not in that place of peace and harmony. And so I have to learn to be in Walmart and be content. I have to learn doing dishes. I used to love to do dishes once I started to experience enlightenment, because it's warm, soapy water on my sore, aching, arthritic hands, and it was so nice. And I read in Jan's book how she also loves to do dishes. So what enlightenment is to take those chores that aren't very nice, picking up dog poo, and make it part of your spiritual practice, the Walmart thing. Bring your highest and best into the worst. And the worst will go away, and you'll see the beauty even in Walmart. What else do I have? Okay, I'm kind of running out of time. But you all have touched it. You touched it this morning. Any of the people that were here meditating, you've touched that enlightenment. You know, moments of it, and the whole teaching is to expand it into the rest of your life. Help. The one thing in my spiritual practice that I haven't covered is, in Buddhism, they call it a sangha, a spiritual community. I have had this spiritual community for 39 years. It'll be 40 this October, okay? And it has been my greatest teacher. And a spiritual community, the Buddha said, you cannot do it alone. You cannot become enlightened alone. You have to have a spiritual community. And the spiritual community, you have to do more than just sneak in the door, sit in the back, listen, run out the door. You have to do more than that. You have to come and you have to be a part of us. You have to expose yourself, your true self, to us so that we can say, oh, how beautiful, how beautiful. And when you begin to do that, you're challenged. And, we're, as a group, we're challenged. But in that challenge, we all lift each other up. Really. I'm an introvert. a really amazingly introverted introvert. When I first started coming to this church, my first wife, before she died, we were coming to the church, and she said, "Do you want to continue to come here?" And I said, yes, I want this wisdom. I want this insight. But what I don't want is I don't want social interaction. Right? And looking back, the thing I need more than anything at the time was social interaction. And so be careful what you don't want, because, sometimes. One more quick story. Sometimes revelations are not pleasant. They're not. One of my revelations was, I asked God, I said, "Okay, God, what I want to know is I want to really know that I'm on a true spiritual path, a true spiritual path." And so a voice came into my head, which it often does. I hope that's okay. But a voice came into my head and it said, "To be on a true spiritual path, you must be 50% student and 50% teacher. To be 80% student, you're arrogant. Give me your wisdom. Give me your insights. Give me all you've got. And to be 80% teacher, you're arrogant. I am the teacher." Right? And back then, I was a total introvert. And the thought of me coming up here and talking for 40 minutes or whatever it is was outrageous. I could never believe that I could do it back then. And yet, little by little, what I've learned is that y'all love me, and that's beautiful. And if I expose who I am, I get to expose not the body and brain, but the divine intelligence within me. And so this is what we are asked to do, is to share who we really are with everybody. With everybody. So I have to come to an end. So I have homework for you. I love to give homework because, you can't become enlightened if you're focused on enlightenment for an hour every Sunday. If that's the only thing you do, that's not enough. It'll take you 10 lifetimes. So you have to focus on it during the week. In fact, the Bible says, pray without ceasing. Okay? Pray without ceasing. It doesn't mean this. What it means is God awareness all the time. Speak to your neighbor as if it's God. Speak to your plant that's, not doing well, as if it's God. And that's what it was talking about, pray without ceasing. So here's your homework, 2 things. First thing, I would highly recommend buying the book. Jan Fraser, the something, When Fear Falls Away. When Fear Falls Away. I highly recommend getting it in an audio version. I get mine from audible.com. The reason being is she reads it. And so you can feel her awe, you can feel her bewilderment, you can hear her sincerity, and it's like being in front of Ken all week long, right? And that's really awesome. So a big part of my spiritual study is the 195 audiobooks in my pocket. Okay, so that's your first homework. I really highly recommend it. The second one is to ask yourself multiple times this week, maybe 100 times this week, ask yourself, what would it be like to be enlightened? You know, when there's a difficult challenge, what would it be like to be enlightened and cope with this in a beautiful way? When a friend is hurting, what would an enlightened person do to help this person? And what that does is it takes you from B, brain, body, to C, the quiet watcher. So, just one more comment. I read a lot, and I look for books that enlighten me. And so I have come up with a list of some of my favorites. I think there might be 20, 25 books on it, and it's kind of in categories. And there's copies of it. I hope there's enough. But there's copies of it just to the left of the door as you go out. And it's, I think, entitled Jim's Book List or something cryptic like that. So that's my talk this morning. So what I would like to do is I would like to invite Don to come back up and give us some really beautiful music.
Well, that left me a lot of things to think about, Jim. You know, part of the quote assignment when I first came here was, you know, see if you have pieces of music that relate to what is going on, and I don't know. This is what I related to. This is an A-B song. Because of the commonality of experience. I'm going to change one lyric in it, so hopefully I won't fumble. This is it. My images come from the people who do the work, from the people who sing the song, from the people who live the life, from the people that get along. My images come from the demon that always lurk, and from the demon that do me wrong, and for the fury that is my wife, and for the struggle that is my song. It get me down sometime, it get me down, but only a little look around I find that I am not so lonely. We in the same boat, brother. My images come from the pleasure I had before, and from the pleasure I'm still to know, and from the pleasure my dreams provide, and from the pleasure that I bestow. Images come for the trouble that's at my door, and for the trouble where'er I go, and for misfortunes that I abide, and for the courage I'm trying to show. It get me down sometime, it get me down, but only a little look around I find that I am not so lonely. We in the same boat, brother. My images come from the woman that's on my knee, and from the woman that's in my head, and from the woman out in the sun, and from the woman that shares my bed. My images come for a broken love misery, and for a love that has grown so dead, and expectations my life's undone, and for illusions that I've been fed. It getting me down sometime. Woo, it get me down, but only a little look around I find that I am not so lonely. We're in the same boat, brother. My images come from the world in which I live, and from the world I love so well, and from the world of changing light, and from the world of which I tell. A bottle of rum for the feelings I cannot give, and for the feelings that fears impel, and for the screams of a thoughtful night, and for the time that is spent in hell. It gets me down sometime, it get me down, but only a little look around I find that I am not so lonely. We in the same boat, brother. We in the same boat, brother.
Ah, that's amazing. Wasn't that good? So now we come to the time when we support this center. And we support this center because we are the center. You know, we support ourselves. And so if you would, read with me this affirmation of abundance. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me abundantly. And so it is. There is other ways where you can support this center. There is volunteering. There is prayer work for us. And so would the ushers go around and collect all that we have.
This has been kind of my go-to of late. For this moment, the Catmull piece. It's called Hand It Over. If your problems won't go away and you're worried both night and day, hand it over, get down on your knees and pray. If you're sick and feeling low, got no money and nowhere to go, ooh, hand it over, get down on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, give it up, I'll give it over. Hey, hand it over, get down on your knees and pray. There ain't no mountain you can't climb, ain't no answer you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll heal your body and fill your soul. If the road is dark and you can't find your way, just let the Spirit light your way. Hand it over. Then get down on your knees and pray. Hand it over. Hand it over. Give it up and give it over. Hand it over. Get down on your knees and pray. One time. Hand it over. Hand it over. Give it up. Hey, give it over. Come on, hand it over. Man, get down on your knees and pray.
The ushers. I have to look at the cheat sheet. So let's know that this money, these prayers that I'm asking you to pray for this center, this volunteer work that you donate to this center, let's know that all of this supports this center in a way that makes it flourish. I know we have a lot of newcomers this morning. Let them know that this is a really beautiful center, and let them see that we support this center in such amazing ways. We have so many outgoing things where we support elderly and children of abused parents and so many different things. Let us do more do more to share our spiritual wealth with everyone. So I give thanks for all that you've donated this morning. I give thanks for this center, and I can release this to be so simply by saying, and so it is. Thank you. So I'm going to close out with an affirmative prayer. I will do it in the first person because that's how it's best done, in my opinion. So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath. And know with me that there is a divine intelligence. Even science says there is some divine intelligence that helps create this world. And so I know that it's here. I know that it's ever present. I know that it guides me and teaches me and loves me and actually is within me and outside of me and everywhere. And I know this. I know that this divine intelligence is love and beauty and all the good things that I could ever imagine. And I use that energy, I use that wisdom, I use that insight to make the world a better place, to love more, see more beauty, and to actually create more beauty in my yard, in my garden, in my world, in my church. And I do this because it's the most beneficial to me. So I give thanks for the center, for it has so long been such a beautiful part of my life, such a beautiful part of my spiritual practice. So I give thanks for it, and every person that has ever donated anything to the center, I give thanks for them, because we have existed for 39 and a half years. We're going to have our 40th anniversary coming up in October. So I give thanks for this center, for it is so meaningful. And I can release this prayer to help everyone simply and easily by saying, and so it goes. Thank you.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. No, it won't be long till we all need somebody to lean on. Hey, now please swallow your pride. If you have things we need to borrow, for nobody can fill those of your needs that you won't let go. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, and though you know it won't be long, we're all gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on the brother when you need a hand. We all need, but might have a problem that we understand. We all need. Oh, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. We'll help you carry on. Oh, you know that it won't be long, and we're all gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call me if you need a friend. If you need a friend, if you need a friend, and then you want to lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. You know You just call me